Okay guys, here we are. We're back again in the Beast Zone. We have a special guest today, local talented guy, very good drummer, plays in lots of bands here. You probably already know who he is. So we're going to pick his brain and see what the heck he knows and what his thoughts are on certain things. So Billy Pennington, how's it going, brother?
It's going good.
How you been doing?
Been doing well. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Tell you what, this heat has been terrible, but you know we have to just shuffle through it to get to the to the nicer weather. But anyway, so I'm glad you're here. I've followed you, seen you play many times. Very killer drummer. When I saw you one time, you were just like beating the shit out of the drums. And I said, God dang, I said, that guy plays harder than me. You know, and I thought I played hard, but I was watching up to you just wailing away, but the music you were playing at that time, you know, called for that, and it was like perfect. It was like, you were like perfect, Johnny on the spot doing what you were doing. So, anyway, so what we want to do, and guys, if you like, you know, these interviews and stuff, you know, subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up. If you have a comment or something, that's cool. We're not all professional fancy here. We're just kind of just raw, in the raw here, just doing a little chit-chatting about drummers on the local scene. So appreciate it if you give us some support. Okay, Billy, so when you just kind of just like, how old was you when you started, and just kind of give us an idea of like what got you into drums, and you know how you progressed a little bit here.
So, growing up, my family was always into music. My uncle liked Southern rock, like Skinner and Charlie Daniels band, stuff like that. And my mom was a total hair metal chick.
Oh, really?
So
Wow.
Rat, you know, stuff like Skid Row, all that stuff.
Gotcha,
so I grew up listening to a lot of rock, AC/DC and stuff like that, and Ozzy. But so I was always banging on the desk at school, getting in trouble, tapping pins and stuff. But I think what really got me on the drum set was competition. I went to a little Pentecostal church in my hometown, and the preacher's family, everybody played instruments, all of his kids.
Okay.
So their drummer was a year younger than me. He was 10 years old, and I was 11.
Okay.
And he played this black pearl kit with a rack, Zildjians, the whole works.
Yeah.
His drum kit was probably more than rent on the church.
Oh my goodness.
But my grandmother cleaned the church. She was cleaning the church. So I would go in with her while she would clean, and with permission, I would sit back on the little kid's drum set. And I had to teach myself kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare, and then I'd stop doing that and I'd do just hands. So hi-hat and snare. And then I'd throw the kick in when I could. And so that's how I taught myself to drum. And eventually they would start letting me play songs at church every once in a while. But I think that's probably around 96.
96, and how old were you again?
That's probably around 11.
11,
years old.
So I mean, was you automatically drawn to drums? Like, I mean, you pretty much knew you did want to do drums?
I saw him doing it. And I knew that I'd always beat on stuff.
So
I was like, I want to sit back there and do it.
Right.
If he can do it younger than me, then I can do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how long was it after that point that did you actually get a drum set?
Not too long. I played on the church drum set for a long time. My grandmother would clean the church, 2 or 3 times a week, and I'd always go up there with her. But I bought a cheap Pulse drum set. And that was one of those made in Taiwan, poplar, cheap shells and stuff. But I bought that after a summer of working at the grocery store. And played on that for several years. In 2005, I bought a brand new PDP by DW. One of their kits, a Birch kit. And I bought that kit because I was at Guitar Center and they had the Birch version of the kit, and then they had the Maple version. Same head, same cymbals, and I just switched back and forth. And I like the Birch more for some reason. I didn't know why. I just prefer the sound of it.
What age were you then? I mean, had you
probably 16 or 17.
So you're a few years into it. You had already been practicing at the church drums, and then you got you a set. So now you have your own drum set, and you're like, okay. So, how long did it take you? Like, where did you meet other musicians where you actually like formed some kind of a band?
Well, I immediately was playing with musicians in church.
Right. Okay.
I played with those guys a lot,
Okay,
and then in middle school I joined band.
Okay.
And,
okay.
And,
like A band or something.
Yeah, like
band.
well, it was just regular orchestra band.
Oh, okay,
with
okay.
the full
Orchestra.
trumpets,
Yes. Okay, gotcha.
Woodwinds.
Gotcha.
And so that actually is interesting because I'm all self-taught. I don't have any formal education.
Right. Yeah.
And in band, I would say 7th grade, probably around, I don't know, 99.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do drums. I wanted to play snare, but we were such a small
okay.
school.
Yes,
there were
yes.
only 3 snare drums.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So I was first in line, and the way they did it is they put red and white poker chips into a bucket.
Okay.
And if you got a red chip, you got to play it. If you got a white chip, you don't get to.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
I was first in line, and I pulled out that white chip,
Oh,
and I was
man.
so disheartened.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I've got a drum set at home.
Yeah.
I've got all the stuff. I love drums.
Right.
So I ended up, you know, sulking in the back of the room for the rest of the class. And the last 2 instruments to come up were trombone and baritone.
Right.
And I was just like, I'll take whatever's left.
Oh,
I played trombone for 3
yeah,
years.
Really?
So
that's cool.
But,
Well, so I mean, as far as like, so that was in high school, right?
Mhm.
Okay, and then how soon after that were like, I mean, did you think you wanted to form a rock band or just any kind of band? I mean, was it?
So yeah, probably. I think the first band I really joined up with, and it wasn't really a band. It was a music appreciation class where they had. It was in the band room, so all the band gear was there. There were 2 trap sets there.
Right.
So I would play on the trap set during music appreciation, and then play trombone during band.
Oh,
but,
okay.
Me and a bunch of the kids from that class formed just a goof around band called Burnt Toast.
Okay.
And it was kind of like a punk rock thing.
Right.
But I met my buddy Josh, who he learned guitar while I was learning drums.
Okay.
And we played together for
that's awesome.
a long time after that.
Right. Okay. So did you do any? Okay. So you got into playing with some guys and stuff. I mean, what was your first like? I mean, now are you here in Wichita or are you not here in Wichita at that point?
I'm in Nocona at this point.
Okay.
I grew up in Nocona.
Okay, you grew up in Nocona. Okay, so as far as like local stuff here, did you play with anybody here where you actually got to play here at any of the venues?
I was coming to some rock shows up here, the local underground kind of like really heavy metal stuff. Yes. And I met a couple of people from here, and a couple of people I met from here were actually from Bowie.
Oh, okay.
And so the band I was in at the time met those guys up here, and they were playing a show, and my first band, which was called the Jackson Saga, we were like a hardcore metalcore band, and we played our first show in Bowie after meeting those guys.
Okay.
And after our first show in Bowie, we started booking shows up here at the Legion, the 169 out by the lake.
Okay, yes.
That was pretty much my stomping grounds of Wichita Falls.
Okay, that's cool. Did you ever get into any type of recording, or what was your first experience? Say somebody says, "Hey," I mean, was this now original music or was this cover?
Yeah, all originals.
Okay, all originals. So at some point you probably did some recording, right? Okay.
I recorded 3 or 4 songs with a guy that had a small studio in Nocona.
Right.
And it was under my first band's original name, which was Killing December. It was different members at the time. But the first real recording I actually did was with Steven. Steven that you had on last month.
Yes.
And he came to Nocona and he recorded an album in a pool house for us.
Oh wow, that's cool. Yeah, he's a very talented guy.
And it was all live, no metronome.
Right. Oh really?
We didn't really know what we were doing. We
just winging it there, right?
Yeah.
Know all about that winging stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's for sure. Well, let me ask you this: what do you think about the local scene now, as far as how it's progressed? The bands that have come and gone and stuff like that. I mean, do you think it's a good mixture of music that we got here for this size of town, or do you think it needs another element?
I think as far as the talent goes, I think Wichita Falls is just jam-packed. Ton of musicians.
I totally agree with you.
And ton of great musicians.
Totally agree.
They can do everything from originals in all genres to, we've got a bunch of cover and tribute bands who are nailing the songs.
Yeah,
live.
absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
I think Wichita Falls needs a little bit more boosting when it comes to like the venues and the sound quality that they're able to produce.
You know, there's not a lot of places to play here, and the ones that are here, you know, they try to do their best, and you know, with
they're
the
just
sound
scheduled,
stuff.
and they're scheduled all the time.
Yes, so you know, it's just we're a small town, so you know, you go to the Metroplex, well, golly, you just got. I mean, there's so many places to play, and they usually have the production. I played in Dallas quite a few times, and I was just like amazed. I'm like, golly, look at all the lights, the sound system.
In some of the small venues,
you know, and I was like, holy crap, you know, I was just totally blown away. I mean, I love that. I thought, man, if that could be here, I mean, you know, but you know, it has to do with the space, you know, and you know, the production and having people running it, you know, and just, you know, it's a combination of things. We do get our share of bands that come through here, and a lot of them are very well-named bands that everybody knows. And so, you know, that's a good thing too, because I don't think any bands would come here if they didn't think it was worth the trip to play in a place that.
Well, we're like the only real stop in between Oklahoma City and the Metroplex.
Yeah, and a lot of bands that they take advantage of that. And they say, hey, we can stop and make a little money here, and then we'll move on to the next. You know, if they're on a little tour or something like that. And I know, like I said, a lot of bands from here have actually gone on to do bigger and better things. And you're right, back to what we was talking about, local talent. This town is just full of it. I mean, I'm totally amazed by, you know, I'll go and look at these bands and see people playing and stuff, and I'm like, man, I mean, there's just a lot of cool musicians here that are doing a lot of good things. And like I said, it kind of comes and goes. I mean, you have a band for a little while, and then they kind of go away, and then another one will spring up. But, you know, it's always something new and a little bit different. But I think we cover pretty much most of everything. So that's a good thing. You know, if we could just get like you said about the venues and stuff, you know, have maybe a few more to play at, you know, kind of help. But so I was going to try something on this segment with you. I was just going to be like a question. I want to ask you a question, and you just say like yes or no, and then just kind of like I'm just going to call it pick your brain. Okay. You know, so we'll just start off with do you think drummers are timekeepers?
Oh yeah, for sure.
For sure. Okay. Do you think that the drummer's job is, out of the whole band of the musicians, is the hardest job as far as playing and keeping things going? You know what I'm saying? You know, as far as like keeping things going, do you think the drummer is that, or do you think the guitar, the bass player, or the singer is that person?
I don't know if it's the hardest, but it's definitely tied for first if it's not the hardest.
Right? Yeah. I would say that the singing, whoever's the lead singer, has his hands full.
Yes, for sure.
And he's like the quarterback, and he's got to make all the right calls. And I kind of think like we're the running backs, you know, and like, you know, we're just pounding away, you know, pounding away. So I like that. I like that. So do you think that drummers are smarter than the other musicians, guitar players, bass players, keyboard players, singers?
Even though I'd like to say yes, I don't think so a lot of the times.
Okay. I was wondering what you'd say on that. So, you know, it's just some questions that...
I'm just trying to save my ass.
Exactly. You don't want to be in trouble and be like, oh, man, they kicked me out of the band. I wonder why. All right, that's cool, man. I like that. So just a couple of questions, just picking his brain, seeing what he thinks. Another subject that I haven't brought up is I see kind of the lack of women drummers, girl drummers. I know there's like one or two in town, I believe. I don't know them personally, but what's your thoughts on girl drummers locally?
Locally, I really only know one, and that's...
But I mean, do you think we need more, or do you like that idea of a girl drummer?
Yeah, I'd like everybody on drums. So I was roommates with there's a local girl drummer, Sierra.
Yes, I've heard of her.
Played for City Creek for a long time. And I lived with my roommate, dated her for a while. So yeah, it's cool to see a chick on drums. You don't see it a whole lot.
I totally agree with you. I wish there was more. to be honest. But because there's a lot of famous girl drummers,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's a lot.
Yeah, and, especially on like Instagram.
Yeah.
There's a
yeah,
ton of
and I'm sitting there
drummers.
watching them. I'm going, golly! I mean, that's just amazing how they can just do the licks and they keep the time. I mean, I think it's very cool. And if you had a band and you had a chick drummer, man, I mean, yeah, I like that idea. I wish there was a few more here in town. And maybe if I can figure out who these ones are here in town, maybe I can get in contact with them. And I'd love to have them in here just to talk from their perspective about stuff. So, moving on, let's talk about equipment. You mentioned the drums that you got at Guitar Center. Now, do you have a preference, or have you gotten other different brands of drums? I mean, what's your idea on what you like to play?
I've had my PDP, that Pacific kit. I've had it for a long time.
Okay,
and I love it. It's my go back to kit.
Gotcha.
And I've got a Mapex Mars that I really like, but I find myself coming back to the Pacific all the time.
Okay.
And I think it's just kind of home base more than anything. Right. But, I have two Pacific kits, but I also have a Mapex kit. I've got a couple of Gretsch kits.
Oh, okay.
And
cool.
I've got a Tama kit, and to me, they're really, it comes down to the heads and the tuning and the cymbals for me. So.
Well, you talked earlier about birch versus maple. Now, in my opinion, birch is a little louder sounding. My Tama drums are birch, and I always thought that they sounded a little louder. But I love the maple. I love the maple. It's just got that solid, rock solid sound. So, you know, with that in mind, I mean, you said you like the birch matter drums, you said? Okay. And is that the same reasoning, because they're a little louder? Or just...
I think whenever I was playing them, I always had that 60s, 70s sound in my head for the you know, the thud.
Yes, right.
So the quick attack and the deep tone and the decay is super fast.
Yeah.
So whenever I was playing on, like I said, I was playing the same kit in different woods.
Yes.
And I just found that the maple kind of sang a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And the birch just had a little bit more of that initial punch. And it went away quicker.
Yeah.
And that's what I was after.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. So as far as cymbals, what's your preference on cymbals?
It used to be anything I could get my hands on.
Right?
And,
yeah, anything.
So
Amber.
I used to be there's a local drummer, you know, Chris Hunt here in town.
Yes, I do. Yes, I know.
He used to sell me a lot of cymbals back whenever he worked at the drumming shop downtown.
Yes.
And I went through a lot of cheap B8 kind of cheap cymbals. And he dubbed me Billy the Breaker real early on. And my mom.
Because you cracked them?
Yeah, because I just cracked cymbals. I beat the crap out of them. And my mom bought me my first couple of cymbals. And after a while, it's like, you know, if you keep breaking them, you're going to have to buy them yourself.
Yeah,
and
I know that feeling.
So
yes.
I couldn't afford Zildjians, but I had a buddy with a set of old Sabians.
Okay.
And they weren't too old, but they were AAs.
Yeah, right.
They sounded great. So I was a Sabian guy for a little while. Yeah. And then I switched to Saluda, which is a small company out of North Carolina or South Carolina, I believe.
Yeah.
And they make the cymbals when you order them, so they're not like sitting on backlog.
Really?
You tell him what you want, and he has a bunch of blanks, and he'll draw them out, hand hammer them, lay them.
Do you know what metal they use on that?
They use B20 all the way across.
All the way across.
Okay. And they have a lifetime edge crack warranty.
Really?
Where if you catch it at a 1/4 inch, you just pay to ship it and pay shipping back, and they'll send you the same cymbal.
That's cool.
And,
that's very cool.
And I think what they do is they cut them down and relay them into smaller cymbals.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
that makes sense.
They do that for free, and if you catch it before if it's over a 1/4 inch and you catch it before a 1/2 inch, I think you pay like $60. Okay. And then they'll ship you a new cymbal.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, because like I said, back in the day, they didn't do that kind of stuff.
No,
you know,
not
you
at
crack
all.
the cymbal, well, you're just out of luck.
Yeah, tough ditty.
You know, I mean, when you're paying over $200 a cymbal, I mean, like you said, and you know, the funny thing is, you crack and you know it's cracked, but you just keep whacking away at it no matter what until it just finally, you know, you're like, okay. You know?
I've got a bag of just cracked cymbals, and I can't let them go because they look like gold coins.
I know, right?
And it's like I spent so much money on this.
Right.
Grew up playing Mario and Sonic the Hedgehog. You know, those gold coins are valuable.
tell me what you're doing right now. What are you doing right now playing wise?
I'm playing with a rock band called the Fleeting Romance. I'm playing with Clint Vines and the Hard Times, which is kind of like a working man, hard rock, country feel.
Right.
And I also do, I'm a sub-in for a guy named Tanner Sparks, and I do fill-in dates that his drummer can't do.
Okay. What music is that, John?
That's kind of like old-fashioned 90s country.
Oh, okay. Well, it's good. I mean, I like drummers that have a background in a lot of different types of music because, you know, sometimes you have a drummer and then all he knows is just like rock and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, he's never played country or never played, you know, swing or anything like that. He just strictly this.
Yeah.
You know, but it does help to have a little bit of background in other type, or to be able to play other type of music.
Yeah.
Like you said, say a guy says, "Hey man, I need a drummer, but we're gonna play this type of music over here." It's like a challenge, right? So you go over there and you're like, "Oh man, it's not too bad. It's probably easier than what you're playing, but and not as hard, but it's still it just kind of gives you a sense of accomplishment. Like I can do that.
I'd rather be versatile.
Yeah, absolutely.
Than to be really good at just one thing.
Yeah, exactly. Versatile is very good, like you said, because it just brings out, well, you know, it just brings out more of your taste, the kind of, you know,
it shows you're more of a musician than just a drummer.
Yeah, exactly. If you can really bring out some different types of, you know, beats and stuff, you're like, man, you know, that guy has a little background. You can tell, you know, you can just tell instead of just playing one straight, solid type of beat or whatever. So, Vice Broken, it's funny you say that. I remember seeing y'all many times playing and stuff, and didn't y'all put out a EP?
Yeah, they had a full album before I joined the band.
Okay. What was that one called?
I think the album was called The Enemy and Me.
Okay.
And great record. Tons of great songs.
Is any of that online if somebody wanted to check that out, or is it like on?
I think you can find some stuff on YouTube.
Okay.
Just Twice Broken, one word on YouTube.
Okay.
But you can find some stuff, but I don't know if the whole album is up there.
Okay.
But I believe there are going to be copies someday that you can either buy. I don't know who has the actual copies, but there might be copies of the CD up there.
Okay, that's very cool. Very cool.
But I think we've talked about putting the songs up online just to have them out there.
I think it'd be a great idea because, like I said, you can always go back and listen to them. Or anybody that says, "Well, I'd like to hear what y'all did" or something, you know, you can always go back and listen. Always go back and see stuff. Like I said, that's the cool thing about uploading stuff.
Yeah, legacy.
Check it out, man. I'm telling you, you know, it'll be there for a while, I hope. Did we talk about sticks? Did you bring some sticks?
I did bring some sticks.
Well, tell me what you're rocking.
I played Promark, the Shirakashi Oak.
I heard that one.
So oak is a little bit more dense than hickory, and I break a lot of sticks. I hit a lot of backbeats. A lot of play my hi-hats on the shank, and so I shred I broke a lot of drumsticks. And hickory for me tends to split, whereas the oak drumsticks I find I whittle them away into hourglasses.
I got you.
Yes, exactly.
So exactly what I'm about. Yeah.
It's more of just a money thing for me.
Yeah, well, I told you he was a heavy hitter, so I mean, he's telling you. When you can get up and it looks like a sawmill took place under your seat, you're like, God dang, you know, because all these chips are just flying off, and you're like, dang it, you know. But well, I tell you what, would you be willing to play a little bit for us? Just kind of jam out?
For sure.
Okay, man, let's do it.
Cool. I'm gonna grab my sticks.
Absolutely. Billy Pennington is going to rock out for y'all. Let's check this out.
All right.